Back again. It's your boy CJ Goodfellow with the Boxing Clinic, man. And after watching Lomachenko last night, we got to get into that real boxing talk. I'm going to rebuff, retouch, remaster, just tear it down and redo it again. Talking about Vasyl Lomachenko versus Gervonta Tank Davis once again. And after watching last night, I like Gervonta Tank chances a lot better than before. After watching Lomachenko last night, I'm a big fan. I think he's one of the best in the business. But I think there is a bromance between him and a lot of different guys. And I try to stay objective, in talking about him. I like him a lot. I like his skill set a lot. But I really think Gervonta Tank Davis can do some damage with Vasyl Lomachenko. I thought about his versatility. And I think one half his versatility is not going to be any factor with Lomachenko, and that's his ability to box. He boxed beautifully versus Jose Pedraza, very disciplined, kept his distance, in box, and then he turned it on later. And that's the latter half I want to talk about. I understand that Salido he's a marinated version of a rugged, tough Mexican fighter. He's very experienced. He's very schooled, and he's very awkward with his hooks. I mean, his overhand hybrid hooks are some of the most awkwardest, cleanest, fluid punches I've seen, in the sport of boxing. And I think he gave Lomachenko all he wanted and more with the body punches, the punches to the hip, and those awkward hooks. And Lomachenko couldn't really get a beat on it to the end of the fight when Salido slowed down. And we got to understand Salido, even at that point, had been through a lot of different wars with guys like Robert Guerrero, Juan Manuel Lopez, and different guys, And I think Gervonta Tank Davis can do some things that Orlando Salido did and not do some things he did. He cannot do some things that Salido did well, but he can do some things and bring some attributes to the table that Salido couldn't. And what I mean by that is, with the hybrid overhand hooks that Salido threw, I don't think Tank can mimic that. And I don't think, Lomachenko had an answer for those hybrid hooks, overhand, whatever the fuck you want to call them, and shit like that. And you can't just, train for a training camp and do that. But what he can do is he can do some great body punching. He can focus on the body punching for a training camp or two. I think he can really slow Lomachenko down. Now, I thought Marriaga should have went to the body more because he was landing body shots very well versus Lomachenko early on. And I think Gervonta Tank Davis could do it as well. Of course, Lomachenko loses different angles and he moves his feet, but guess what? The body doesn't move. And if Gervonta Tank Davis exclusively, hones in on Lomachenko's body, he should be okay. And another thing that I think Tank Davis can do that Salido did was not go for every fucking feint that Salido throws. That Lomachenko throws. I don't know, I keep calling him Salido, excuse me. I think he has that mentality like Orlando Salido that have no fucking respect for Lomachenko's punching power. And he's younger and fresher than Salido. He hadn't been through those wars as well. I think he won't go for each feint. I think he's able to beat the body down, then go upstairs. And the thing that he brings that Salido didn't bring is real, extraordinary, elite type power. And with that power, he brings that Salido attitude and aggressiveness. And if he can add body punching with that punching power, with that aggressiveness, he can give Lomachenko a real issue, especially if he doesn't have that respect for Lomachenko's feints. Lomachenko's whole style is built on finesse and feints and using angles. And how do you erase angles? You close distance. You make it a rough and tugged fight. You cut the ring off. You make it a fucking lunchbox. You cut the ring off in quarters. You cut the ring off. And Miguel Marriaga, Gary Russell, Walters, they weren't aggressive, boxers, even though the Axeman had that persona of being a nasty, dirty dog. He wasn't an aggressive type fighter that can fight on the inside. And he didn't bring that he brought a nasty attitude, but he didn't bring that aggressive nature that Tank and Salido does bring. they just have a nasty dirtiness about them. You be able to be rugged on the inside and really walk and stalk their prey. And that's what gives Lomachenko problems. Guys that don't go for every feint. Guys that's able to cut the ring off. Guys that's able to be rough and tough with them. Guys that can exclusively hone in on the body and then bring it upstairs. And I think Gervonta Tank Davis does a lot of things that Salido done well, but he brings the speed, the youth, and the power that Salido didn't bring. But where he would lack versus Lomachenko is in the experience department and probably the elite body punching that Salido was able to do in that fight as well. And also the weight advantage that Salido came in with the fight as well as that too. But I don't think that'll be an issue with Tank. I think he's just so much a power puncher, and he's so much aggressive that he get Lomachenko problems. And I just hope they throw him in there with him sooner than later. Then wait till a different weight class, or wait till this fight is nobody cares about, or then gone and dried away. Because I think Gervonta Tank Davis can beat Lomachenko. I really do. I ain't saying I'm betting on it, but I think he has the style and that power and aggressiveness. And if you get the body punches, he can fuck Lomachenko up, in my opinion. I don't know why I keep on.